Hi, I'm Irving, and I have no life, just like you. Okay, it's time to start on one of my favorite World War II series, Medal of Honor. Medal of Honor has been around since 1999. In the original game, you play as an agent of the OSS, which was the forerunner of the CIA. You're supposed to use stealth as much as your weapon to complete missions. That's what I've read about it, and that's all I've done because so far I haven't been able to get my grubby little hands on a copy to play it. That, plus the fact that there's only about 21,840 games in this series, means that for a change we won't be doing things in order. I'll do the ones I own in the order that I think they came out, and if I happen to come into possession of any of the other earlier ones along the way, I'll shoehorn them in as I'm able. Having said that, I could use some help. If you have a copy of one of these games, especially the older ones like the first game or Underground, and feel like being nice, you could donate it to the cause. Let me know in the comments what you have and we can figure it out. So we'll start this series with Medal of Honor Allied Assault for the PC. I got this one as part of a package called War Chest. It includes this one and 2 expansion packs, so we'll do those in sequence. Step 1 was find a computer the game will run on. That means I couldn't use any of my computers running Windows 7. Oh, I know you're supposed to be able to run older programs by adjusting compatibility. Guess what? I haven't seen that work yet. I've tried more than 20 older programs and games with various compatibility settings, all with no success. Thanks, Microsoft. Once again, you show that you can improve things to the point where they don't work at all. I did manage to find an old laptop running XP, and it worked on that one. I bought a $12 widget on eBay to hook the computer up to my DVR, and we were off and running like a herd of snails. Level 1, the training course.
Good. Now press your forward key to move in the direction you're facing. Press your backwards key to move back. Press strafe left to move left and strafe right to move right.
This is your nose. This is your butt. Do not get the two confused. Yeah, these instructions are pretty kindergarten level, but in 2002 there were probably a lot of gamers who needed it. You go through using explosives and the various weapons and then you're ready to go. A couple of things stand out. First, don't expect to be able to pick up enemy weapons. What you have is what you have, period, paragraph, end of story. There's some good news though. The 9mm bullets the Germans used in their MP40 fit your .45 caliber Thompson submachine gun just fine. Don't ask. Movement is pretty basic, though I was surprised to see there's no command to go prone. You can crouch, but as the actions of your enemies will show, sometimes it's safer to lie clear down. But you can't do that. I don't know why, but it does get to be a problem sometimes.
This training should help you keep your head under fire. You're dismissed, Lieutenant Powell.
Okay, back to the map. Okay, so now what do I do? The only thing that lights up when I mouse over it is the training course. But I already did that. May as well click it and see what happens. Restart it. No, that's not what I want to do. Briefing room? That's the same screen. Go back. Load and save? Okay, what can I load? Looks like just the training thing. What's going on here? Well, this is frustrating. How do I move on? I finished the training, but it won't let me do anything else. I don't get it. I thought maybe there was a problem with the install, so I uninstalled it and tried to reinstall. It gave me an installation error and quit. Now I'm starting to get angry.
And it's displayed like this. Grr.
Nothing to do but keep trying, I guess. I discovered there was some dirt on the second disk, so I cleaned it off and put it back in. The program asked for the first disk again. I popped that in and everything started over. Who knew that 2/3 of the game was just getting it to install and run right? Gee, this is fun. I don't know if I can stand the excitement. After half a day doing that and getting it reinstalled, I was right back where I started. Click New Game. It takes me to this screen, but the training thing is still all I can click on. I wonder if there's something in the manual. Setting up the game. New game. Okay, to start a new game. Yeah, I did that. Okay. Select difficulty. I haven't seen that yet. When starting a new game, you set the difficulty level for your game after clicking RZoo on the map. I think I saw that. Give me that map again. So the key to getting into this damn game is clicking on a random word that looks like it's spelled backwards, and that information was buried on page 12 of the manual and only mentioned in passing.
Well done!
Time for the briefing from the Colonel.
Lieutenant Powell, I'm Colonel Hargrove from the Office of Strategic Services, the OSS. Our branch specializes in covert operations, usually deep behind enemy lines. Espionage, sabotage.
Fromage, décolletage.
You and a small squad of your fellow Rangers will infiltrate our zoo under cover of darkness. Your goal is to destroy the coastal batteries and rescue the captured agent. You'll receive specific details of the mission once you're in the field. The SAS operative is Major Jack Grillo, a man I've known for years. He would never allow himself to give up what he knows to the Germans, so please find him before he's forced into taking drastic measures.
It says to hit fire to skip the briefing. Does that mean the best way to shut him up is to shoot him? Okay, so the job is to rescue Major Grillo, who went on to invent a famous scrubbing pad. No, wait, that was... Never mind. You start out in a truck trying to pose as Germans, but of course it doesn't work. So you have to fight your way in. One really interesting thing that we start seeing right away. Your men are dropping like flies, including the captain who's in charge of the whole thing. Guess who's the only one left? Nothing to do but go find the major. Just before you get to him, you see this. Unfortunately, you can't pick one up, as I already mentioned. Oh well, the major's just around the corner.
Thanks. They would have killed me for certain. Stick close to me at all times.
Oh, so the MP40 was for him. I get it now. So now we have to find where they took his explosives and stuff. It's basic gameplay, though I have to admit Grillo was really good with that MP40.
Look out!
How come I can't get that kind of accuracy? Anyway, you find the explosives. Along the way, you get to use some stealth moves, which is a nice variation from the usual shoot 'em up. Cool. My stealth in that last one wasn't all that stealthy since another guy saw me, but I enjoyed it anyway. You blow a gate leading to the actual gun emplacements, then blow the guns themselves. I only put the explosives on the left one, but the other one was far enough away. Man, I'm good. From here, you part company with Grillo. He's off to find us a ride while you're supposed to disable everybody else's ride so they can't hunt us down and shoot us into little bitty pieces. I'm in favor of that. And some of these enemies are pretty intimidating. You disable their trucks by cutting wires. Good thing the Germans left the hoods open and the wires were nice bright red, huh? If I had to open 3 hoods on my own, I'd probably give up and go home. Next, you plant explosives on some tanks and an ammunition room. Wait, isn't it supposed to count down and explode after I plant it? Well, yes and no. See, once you plant the bomb on the 4th tank, it uses bomb telepathy to tell the others. I say, chaps, I've been planted, so it's time for all of us to begin countdown. Right, Jolly good. Right, beginning countdown. These are British explosives, remember? I say, what happens when we reach 0? Well, we explode. Oh, bugger! That brings a ton of soldiers your way, but you can take care of them. You meet Grillo and it's on to the airfield, where you have to destroy a certain number of planes plus fuel barrels and stuff. For this, you're on the 30 cal on the back of a Jeep.
Get ready, we're almost there. Remember, don't just take out the planes. We also want to get the fuel dump and any troops on the ground. And don't let any of those planes take off. Ow! We've got a truck on our time, 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 truck on our time.
Well, that's not good.
Really, it didn't even bother me that much. Crashes are part of a PC game because we use them with Windows. It wasn't a big deal to start again. This time I was ready for that truck that scared him so bad he glitched the game.
Any of those planes take off.
He takes you around and you just keep shooting and blowing stuff up. That's definitely fun. From there, you head into a bunker to take out some radar equipment and head to the top of a lighthouse to signal your fleet that the radar's been taken care of. That brings out yet another squad of Germans. Once you deal with them, Grillo shows up in a truck and you're done. I have to admit, from what I heard about these early games and playing as part of the OSS, I was expecting less shooting and more stealth. I suppose I could have left this guy alone. But I couldn't resist, and I was glad I did when I saw the result. The Nazis have developed anti-gravity technology. We're doomed! Oh wait, it's just another glitch. Don't scare me like that. So Grillo calls you on the radio and you snipe some guards so he can open the gate for you. When he does, this happens. Ah crap, was that my fault? As it turned out, I got a chance to find out because I got killed and had to start again.
Pal, go on without me.
Nope, this guy's time is up. I got that guy who shot him the first time and another one took him out. It's part of the game, I guess, so it's a good thing he isn't real. This level reminds me a lot of Hidden and Dangerous 2. The game as a whole reminds me a lot of it. Some of the graphics and movement, the briefings, even some of the sounds and the looping music are a lot like it. And you'll recall that we did some stuff with submarines there, too. In this one, the sub is actually a secondary target, basically a really big diversion. After we gather a bunch of documents, this is our primary goal. Three scientists in lab coats are shooting at me.
And everybody's got a gun.
The silence shots don't bring anybody running and nobody's suspicious. Why? because you're wearing a German officer's uniform and carrying some officer's papers. As long as you keep your gun put away, you can go almost anywhere. Well, except here.
Die Papiere bitte?
Diese Papiere sind nicht in Ordnung.
So you find another officer and either steal his papers or kill him and steal his papers. That gets you into the sub where you're supposed to plant a couple of bombs. But there's no way to do it without taking out at least one guy, and as quick as you do, you see this message. How many things are wrong with this picture? For one thing, I closed the door before I eliminated him. Nobody else saw a thing. He didn't raise any alarm, so what blew my cover? I tried going the other direction first and got the same result. Maybe they're telepathic like those bombs we planted back in Africa. However it happened, now it's a running gun battle to plant the other bomb and get out of there. Up top, somebody must have alerted the rest of the guards because everybody in the place is shooting at you. And here's where the game reminds me of Hidden and Dangerous 1, and not in a good way. He's at one end of the submarine. I'm at the other. He looks like a dot to me. And from that distance, he can tell I'm an enemy, especially when I'm still wearing the German uniform? Come on. Worse, he actually hit me with one of those shots. He doesn't have a scope like I do, so how? It's been an occasional flaw since the beginning of the game. Most of the time I can look past it, but from this level on it really ramps up. And in this case, it's the difference between finishing and starting over. It's hard to look past that. You make your way out of the facility, shooting a couple dozen 1-pixel high dots as you go, up a ladder, and your objective is complete. But you're not out of the woods yet. This is really hard to read, but basically what it says is you did a good job destroying their prototype and now the Germans are really, really angry, so you need to get out of there. You're supposed to make your way to a train station on the north side of the facility where some Norwegian allies have captured a supply train and are supposed to be there with it by the time you get there. Let's see if it works out that way. You start out here. Wherever here is. Oh, I see, I'm in an air duct. If this guy turns into Gordon Freeman, I'm going to track down some developers and do something very unpleasant. You make your way through some ducts, avoiding contact with Germans if you can, then get outside where you have some help, but time is limited.
Hold up!
I made it the first time, though I'm really not sure how.
I think I wet myself.
Let's go!
No, I'm pretty sure that didn't help. On to the next mission. Of course, we have to do D-Day, more officially known as Operation Overlord. You're leading a squad in a charge up Omaha Beach. Wait a minute. As an officer in the OSS, aren't I technically a spy? And don't spies usually work behind the lines, under the radar and all that? So what the hell am I doing on the front lines?
Now, we may have numbers on our side, but we don't have the experience. Most of our troops are fresh out of basic training, and they need true combat veterans like you to help lead the attack. That's why I've reassigned you to the 2nd Ranger Battalion.
Thanks a bunch. As a reward for making the shipping lanes safer, I get to be one of the first to be cut to shreds storming the beaches. Remind me not to tell this guy when my birthday is. His present would probably be a grenade up my butt. Our goal here is to get to the shingle. The what? What the heck is a shingle? I guess I'll follow my pointer and find out. The first few tries to do this are about what you'd expect. A few dozen times doing that, and we finally get to the shingle, which is really nothing more than the shelf where the sand ends and the solid ground begins. I have to admit I've never heard it called that before. Maybe they call it that because after a few hits from those machine guns, you become the equivalent of that famous military food, on a shingle. I like that. Okay, that's my explanation and I'm sticking with it. It makes as much sense as anything else and it's my show. So there. You blow some wire and get to the base of one of those bunkers. Now we need to get to a trench on the other side of a minefield. You cover 2 other guys while they go, and then it's your turn. A while back, a viewer asked if I'd ever thought about doing a Let's Play. Now you see why I don't. I'm really not very good at this. On the other hand, I'm not really seeing a way to do this. Every path I've taken so far has run me into a mine. The captain said to stick to the impact craters, and I did that, but there at the end of the trench there aren't any. So what do I do? I don't believe it, I got there. You head up and clear out the bunker, and then your objective says to eliminate the MG-42 gunners. This should be cool. Mission success. As a reward, you get a medal and another assignment. This one is behind enemy lines trying to take out some stuff that's in the way. You're with that same captain. You get to a farmhouse and rescue some airborne guys who got lost in the chaos. Then you defend the house against a German counterattack. So after that, it's time to move on. Good thing you have a jeep to get around. Never mind. We hold off another German attack and then start walking. We get to another farmhouse, take out a couple of machine gunners, and then learn there's a radio out there somewhere. If you can get it, we can call in airstrikes on the artillery that's causing difficulty for our invasion. Only one problem: snipers. What the? There's nobody there! Okay, looks like I got him. Another one? Excuse me, there's nobody there! How am I supposed to deal with a guy that I can't see? There aren't even any muzzle flashes out there. Is he up in a tree? Is he wearing an invisibility cloak? What's going on here? This is just unfair play. I finally concluded he had to be in those bushes out there. So, by golly, I think I got him. I know there's more out there, but that guy was the biggest problem. So you get the radio, and suddenly the captain and that other guy are bold and brave and come out to see you. So we'll head back to the 88 that we saw on the way here. Or not. Of course, there's a kabillion more Germans descending on the place. I think they can smell the captain, that's how they're finding us. Hey Cap, take a bath, I'm tired of getting shot at. You call in airstrikes on a couple of 88s, take out an anti-aircraft gun along the way, and it's on to the next task. We're introduced to the German Nebelwerfer, a multi-barrel missile launcher that was pretty nasty. Allied soldiers called them screaming memes, partly because of the noise they made, and partly because they couldn't say Nebelwerfer without spitting all over themselves. You do a fair bit of sniping while staying out of range of the machine guns and the screaming memes, then move in and destroy them. If you've been following the briefings and know anything about D-Day and its immediate aftermath, you know we're heading for St. Lo, the site of one of the worst battles of the whole war. It seems like every World War II series has to do something about Stalingrad, something about D-Day ending up at St. Lo, or both. As the Americans and their pals push towards St. Lo, the Germans have just started pulling a bunch of assets from the Calais area toward where the Allies are advancing, so HQ wants to know exactly what's going on so they can plan for it. That's where you come in. You're supposed to go undercover, track down a German command post, and find out what they're up to. You'll be on your own except for one contact in the French resistance. Big surprise.
One of our most trusted agents in the resistance, a young woman named Manon Baptiste, will be there to lend you a hand.
Not bad. That part should be enjoyable at least. Before you get to meet her, though, you have to rescue a downed pilot and escort him to the Resistance safe house. Finding him and getting him away from the German patrol is basic gameplay. Getting him to the safe house isn't.
Watch it.
He keeps saying, over there, and watch it, as if you can see him as well as he can. I don't know how many times I told him to shut up and shoot him himself, but he must outrank me or something because he never listened. Then he kept doing this. It's like this, dude. If your goal is to get to the safe house, do not run out into a stream of enemy bullets. So you're saying if I walk into it, I'll be okay? No, I'm saying stay out of the way of the bullets altogether. I don't understand. Your trail ends at this church. There's some Germans in here, and after you clear them out, the compass directs you to walk up to the altar. Maybe I'm supposed to activate it somehow. Hit my use key. What am I supposed to do? Jump on it? Hey, there's an idea. Did I just find another glitch? Did you catch that? On my umpteenth time around this altar, I happen to be at the right angle to spot a little red area. This thing will not activate unless you hit your use key at that precise spot. Anywhere else, an inch to the left or an inch to the right, and it won't work.
Dum 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 dum.
Down the ladder you go, wander through some tunnels, and at last we meet the lovely Manon.
Are you the American agent? You didn't have too much trouble getting here, I hope.
Wait a minute. I thought this was Manon. Not this. I know face rendering and stuff was basically in its infancy here, but they did okay with the guys, and at least you could make it look human. Obviously, we took a wrong turn at the island of Dr. Moreau. Blech! So Aunt Hagatha gives you a silenced pistol and 3 tasks, all designed to be nothing more than diversions so you can get into the Manor estate where the Germans have the info you're after. First, blow up some tanks. Then throw a switch on a railroad track to divert an incoming train. Then plant explosives on the control barrier that the train will ultimately hit, so the whole mess will blow sky high once the two come in contact with each other. It's all pretty basic, except that I more or less abandoned the silenced pistol pretty early on because these guys could detect me no matter how quiet or careful I was. Maybe I'm the one who needs a bath. Nah. What was I talking about? Oh, right. Once all that's done, you fight your way out to where a resistance guy is waiting with a truck to get you out of there. Mission accomplished. So in the next sequence, he drops you off at a barn that just happens to be a way to sneak past a roadblock. Ah, good German engineering. This is the estate where you're supposed to get the battle plans, send a fake message, and a bunch of other stuff. And it's a headache. Supposedly, the name of the game is stealth because that's why you have a silenced pistol, right? You have to time a bunch of things just so, take out a few guards when there aren't any others around, and try to sneak in. I got this far. Of course, now what do? I have Germans on all sides. It's easy enough to take out the guy operating the searchlight, but there are 3 guards just past those crates and fence beyond you, and that's where you have to go. They don't seem to patrol, best I could gather, they just stand there. And even though it's pitch dark out there, if you lean out from the box far enough that you have more than 3 eyelashes exposed, they'll see you and start shooting, and that brings the whole place down on you and you get to start over. So resolve yourself to fighting your way in as quietly as you can. It's possible, even if they yell, if you take them out before they fire too many shots. Expect this to take forever, mainly because these Germans can see in the dark and can spot you for an enemy in the dark from 200 yards away, and then hit you with pinpoint accuracy with whatever weapon they're holding. Why not? It worked for Adrian Shepard, but it can be done. You may be as gray-haired as I am by the time you do it, but it can be done. Then getting out is the other half of the fun. If you search the buildings thoroughly, you'll find some explosives. There are a couple of tanks on the ground and you can blow them up just for the heck of it. Sneak through a guard post at the gate and you're out and off to meet Manon. Or not. I'm going to digress here for just a moment. This game was doing pretty good. It was playing fair, the missions were diverse, it was playing fair, the graphics were okay until we got to Manon, it was playing fair. I see a theme shaping up here. Remember the original Hidden and Dangerous? Remember my complaints already about this one because the bad guys can hit you when they're so tiny you can't even see them? Up to this point, the game was dancing on the edge of that for the most part. But now they've taken that problem and compounded it like this. These guys can not only see me through all those trees and bushes, they can hit me with just about every shot. And I have no idea where they are because there's half a mile of trees and stuff between me and them. Here's a quick snippet to show you where they actually are. Give me a break. Nothing like this has happened before, but suddenly we change the rules. Again.
Bang, 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 bang!
You can't do that! I'm on the other side of the bush!
I changed the rules. I can do that now.
Damn!
Believe it or not, it gets worse. I cleared the whole place out. Where are these guys coming from? And they're going to keep coming until I move on. Be prepared to deal with at least 3 dogs, too. Otherwise, you get this. Seriously? I was 10 feet from completing the mission, and another dog came out of nowhere and killed me. I'm afraid this game is starting to go downhill. And I don't know what these dogs are made of, but I want one. Half a clip of 9mm MP40 shots right into the dog, no effect. Of course, sometimes it takes a full clip to bring down a simple German soldier. Because he's wearing an extra coat, I guess. Canvas stops bullets better than fur. Gotta remember that. One of the things we stole was information on the Germans' new King Tiger tank. Naturally, all Americans have to do is read the info manual and they become immediate experts in driving such a thing, so we're gonna steal one. But first, we have to get through several streets of snipers. and I promise you're going to hate this. Some of the snipers are easy, and if you remember where they were, it's even easier to take them out on your 150th restart. But there's one that I just could not find. I finally gave up and looked up a walkthrough. He's on a roof behind that one huge tree that we kept looking at. Now, at one point I was down on the ground and crouched behind a big bush in addition to the tree, and he still killed me until I was dead. If you go to GameFAQs to see how to do this, use the 4th walkthrough. It's the only one that actually gives you the right angle to get this guy. Sadly, that's not the only one you might have to look up. These guys are tucked away in some weird places, and it's going to take you a bunch of tries to get past them. My best advice is, save early, save often. That's it. Beyond that, try not to curse too much. I don't know why, just try not to. I know you'll really be tempted about the 4th time this happens. I've heard of spontaneous generation, but I thought that was only with flies or something. Eventually, you get to where you were going, which is finding a bazooka. Then you move on to meet up with the tank crew that's supposed to help you steal the King Tiger. To do that, you have to accomplish 2 objectives. Going through that little tunnel was one. Going up the stairs was another. I can see why they give out medals for this stuff.
You wiped your nose after you sneezed all by yourself. I present to you this medal of accomplishment.
You meet the tank crew, and what do you know? Here comes a tank. Is it the one we're supposed to use? I guess not. Time for the bazooka. So now you're supposed to keep the tank crew alive and take them to where you're going to get the new super tank. Unfortunately, that means more snipers as well as troops here and there. Again, we're dealing with enemies who can see in the dark, see through walls and smoke and trees, and see between the bars on a zebra, and shoot Roosevelt's eye out on a dime from a mile away. I don't know why, but we quit playing fair a couple of levels ago. We also seem to be getting sloppy about our hit detection. Did I get him? There's his feet sticking through the wall, so I guess the answer is yes. I don't know if there were some personnel changes, or if the programmers and testers just got tired or what, but it's rapidly ceasing to be fun. I'll do my best to stick it out to the end, but at this rate it isn't going to be easy. More obscure snipers. Expect some members of your tank crew to get killed, and expect to have to start over a few times because stay behind me isn't in these guys' vocabulary. And the obscurity of some of the snipers is just, well, stupid. You finally get them to City Hall, fight your way through it, and get to the tank. So now what? Start blowing stuff up, obviously. The briefing warned you about other tanks, Panzer Shreks, and 88s. It didn't warn you that foot soldiers with their little pop guns would do as much damage as anything else. This is their new super duper change the world tank, and a few guys with submachine guns and bolt action rifles can destroy it in 5 minutes. Hey guys, zurück ans Reißbrett! The cannon is a terror to behold too, especially for the guys on the ground. So those shells have a blast radius about this big around. No wonder they've been trying to keep this mighty weapon a secret. If this doesn't win the war for them, nothing will. Oh right. Moving on, you encounter 88s, more tanks, usual stuff. Go slow and check your corners and it's not hard to get through. The worst part is the running commentary. I know. I know! If you don't shut up right now, I'm turning this tank right around and going home. It's hard enough doing this with hidden enemies, multiple tanks, and all the rest without him gabbing his fool head off. At least you can blow a tank up with one shot most of the time, and that takes care of that. What? Blow the tank to smithereens, it's sitting there in pieces, burning, and the crew gets out and walks away. No, not really. These guys don't walk. They dance. You see that a lot in this game. Here's a few examples. The best part is blowing up buildings. It's funny how these shells can do this, but can't take out one of these from more than a foot away. Of course, that happens when the shell goes right through him. You do eventually get away with this whiz-bang tank that's made of paper and shoots water balloons. Now you're out of the tank and you have to do some more sniping. So you have to stop the Germans from pushing the plunger to blow up the bridge. That shouldn't be too difficult.
Lieutenant, you will fail your mission if that bridge is destroyed.
After a little bit of that, the enemy tanks come along and you have to use binoculars to target them for your artillery. A few minutes of that and you're done. Now it's on to a totally different task. Schmerzen. Sounds like a swear word. Schmerzen! Or maybe a dance.
Yes, Mr. Irving!
That's the dance these guys are doing. Suddenly it makes sense. So you're in the woods on a snowy evening dealing with snipers, flat guns, and more dancing soldiers. Your immediate task is to take out the flat guns. The first one is easy to find, the next one not so much. And as usual, the bad guys start shooting you long before you can see them. There are no muzzle flashes. They can shoot you through trees and rocks and everything else, and it's a royal pain in the butt. This is the final mission of the game, so it seems we're going out of our way to make it as impossible as possible. This forest section is a headache. As before, save early, save often, get through it any way you can, and once you get through it, sift through your saves and skip it if you decide to play this game again. Once you finally get past all that nonsense, you're supposed to infiltrate a German compound where they're developing the new STG-44 assault rifle. Your tasks are steal the plans, steal one of the rifles, and blow their storage to bits. To help you with this, you get a German officer's uniform. Put your gun away and you can wander around the place undetected, right? What? I wasn't doing anything. I snuck into the place, got the uniform, and came out dressed as a German officer. That's it. These guys should be saluting, not shooting. Nice, effective disguise. Thanks, guys. Okay, so I didn't have any papers, but those guys didn't ask for any. Further on, the papers work, for a while. Now what? Of course, you get past all that and into the area where the weapons are. Set the bomb and come on out. But these guys have you figured out. Hear that alarm? Go to the red handle on the wall and turn it off. Why? Because those guys will just keep spawning spontaneously until you do. Plus it's annoying. Your next task is to exfiltrate. That's military's for get the hell out of there. But there's no time to rest because now you've actually made it to the place you're going, I guess. Then again, not. You have to take down their communications so they can't call for help. I don't know why they'd bother. They can just have more soldiers appear out of thin air anyway. But that's what the boss says to do, so that's what you're going to do. First, you have to get into the town. That wasn't too hard, so I'll just... Seriously? He's just walking around in the same gloom I'm in, but somehow he could tell I'm an American and not that other guy who was just patrolling. You know, part of playing fair is playing believable, and this just isn't. It's like they ripped off the worst parts of the original Hidden and Dangerous. That's possible because this came out a few years after that one and a year or so before the much improved Hidden and Dangerous 2. I don't actually know if there's any connection between the two game series, but it sure feels like it. Eventually, you get through the arch into the town, and then you have to move carefully to try and avoid detection while getting to the compound where the communication stuff is. Your convenient compass shows you where it is. Unfortunately, it doesn't tell you how to get there. Notice the situation. You can take out the guards, but it might set off an alarm. That's okay, there's a switch in this building to turn it off. I think I understand why this game got so hard. Somehow I got possessed by a ghost and he's just following me around undoing all the stuff I do and telling the Germans where I am. Gotta get rid of that thing. Okay, that should do it. You can take most of the rest of them out fairly quietly, but there's a gate down there that won't open. You have to go way around a block or so to the right, across a bridge crawling with guards, and then make your way in past another ghost. the hell happened? This game was doing great. I was really excited. But here toward the end, we're reduced to this.
And that's just really sad.
You get in and plant the explosives. When you've planted the 6th one, you have a whopping 10 seconds to get out of the place. That didn't work. Neither did that. Okay, I gotta wait, and I'll just turn this alarm off and find my way out of this mess. Klinger, you did it wrong. The damn ghost is still there. I'll be brutally honest. I really want to finish this game. I've played several other Medal of Honor games and I want to like them. But this sure isn't making it easy. I'm really tired of this. So how do we get out of this? And by the way, do you like where the save point was? Not before you set the last bomb, not after you get out, but right as the timer starts counting down. Seriously, the quality of this game just keeps getting worse and worse as we go along. It's like the developers got really tired about halfway through the project and just started saying, whatever. So as it turns out, the alarm is on for good and stealth went out the window. Now it's a running firefight to get to your exit point. You're heading for the Commandant's office because that's your way out. Why? Because the game says so. So, as we like to say here, just go with it. In his office, you're supposed to jump out the window. Looking for that stealth that went there, I guess. So here we go. Jump out. Maybe I need to crouch first. Nope, that didn't work. Stand up, try again. More soldiers. Why did I see that coming? Take them out. Okay, all quiet, try the window again. This time it worked. I'm not asking, I'm just glad I'm past that. You jump through the window into some kind of park. Naturally, the Germans are patrolling here, and they have these. You'll get tired of that real quick in this segment. Every time you blink, there's another damn dog. But making your way past soldiers and dogs and even a speeding train, you get to the station. You couldn't see the snipers in that clip, but I could see them on my computer screen because the color setting on my computer is better than what the adapter to my DVR is. So I used that to find these guys and take them out. Your mileage may vary. That's how it goes with a PC game. Now you have to turn off the juice to the electrified fences around this place so your pals can get in. Why can't they go in the same way you did? How should I know? The game says so. The colonel says so. Your mother says so. Whatever works for you. It's searchlight dodging time. You can try shooting him if you like seeing this. I don't. If you do, more power to you. Get in this building and turn off the power to the fences. Now you're supposed to send a fake message to make a particular train stop at this station. When it does, your team will take it over. After that, we do some other stuff. Where do I go to send this message? Back the way I came, trying to get past the searchlights again. I did discover one cool thing. If I'm in a position where I'm hidden from all the other towers, I can take out some of the gunners and have a clear path part of the way. When I first came in here, I tried the door in the front of this building and it was locked. Naturally, it's open now, so I can just waltz right in. Or schmearskooven right in. It's pretty basic. Take out some soldiers and a dog, find your way to the right room, and send the message. Mission complete. Next. So now we're storming Schmerzen. We're going in guns blazing, so that means take out the tower snipers quick. Find your way in using the plans that Patterson found earlier. Who's Patterson? And when did he find these plans? I thought I did that. Whatever. I like this last paragraph. Best of luck to you and your team, pal. No matter what happens, I consider myself honored and privileged to have served with you. It is especially honoring for me since no matter what happens does not include the prospect of me getting killed, only you. No, I better not say that. Start over. Notice that the Rangers are dropping like flies. This is because that is their job and there is nothing you can do about it. You have to shoot multiple snipers in each of those windows. They keep spawning until you've dealt with about 4 at each spot. And that's not counting the actual towers, of which there are 2. The Colonel told you about the towers. He didn't tell you about the huge bunkers with windows that hold dozens of enemies each. Again, thanks a lot. I got through this part with 2 Rangers left, and apparently that was enough to let me move on and not have to start over. It'd be nice to keep them all alive. It might even get me a medal. But again, they don't wait for you to take out the snipers. They just go charging into a hail of bullets. So it's probably just as well these guys don't get any further chances to reproduce. Once you've taken out all the snipers, you're supposed to go release any prisoners they're holding at this place.
The prisoners. Over there, fire!
Yeah, right. After you deal with more spontaneous generation of bad guys with guns. Fight your way in here and the compass says your objective is through this big door. Yet another new wrinkle. Well, we're almost done. I hope. I think. You never know with this game. Our main task is to get inside and blow this place up, but the way this thing goes, we might have to divert to the bathroom where we sit and memorize the Schmerzen phone book or something. I can appreciate wanting to make as long a game as possible so the player gets their money's worth, but the best games will do that seamlessly and find a way to integrate side missions and stuff into the main objective. This game has tried to do that, but it hasn't really been successful. And it keeps introducing new rule changes like this one. I don't know why. But let's keep going and see if we can get it over with. We're inside the secret compound. First we get a gas mask because it's going to get nasty further on. Then we get to where the actual weapons factory is. Of course there are guards here, but we can shoot them. That's been happening all through the game. An enemy goes down and a hail of your bullets kerplop down like a bag of rocks. Seconds pass. You're getting shot from behind. How? He got back up. Look, I know all this stuff is based on hit points and health points and all that. But if you're going to have a guy go down stone cold like that, but still hold out a couple of points and he can get back up, you'd better do like a fantasy game and put the number over his head so the player knows he's not finished yet and knows to do this. And stay down. Past a few more enemies and we reach our goal. We prep the room. And get ready to party. Whoa, 30 seconds to get to the elevator. Okay, where the heck is it? When you get to the elevator, you hit the switch and start up. What you couldn't see there, I had to hit the key 3 times to get it to respond. That's another way the game has been going downhill. Response to the controls gets slower and slower. And it's a major problem, especially in this last sequence where all you can do is run like hell and try to avoid random explosions everywhere. Plus, lunatic soldiers who don't have the good sense to run like hell and try to avoid random explosions everywhere. The elevator gets to the top, and of course, there's a bunch of guys there to shoot you. It's basic run and gun from here on out. You fight your way to one of those crank open doors and then have to dash outside. How the heck do I do this? Germans in front of me, fire behind me. I actually went back to a previous save point and did part of it again so I'd have better health going into this part. That seemed to help. The compass says this is where I go, so I should be done. I'm here. Hello? What is going on here? I am not exaggerating. I made it to the train 5 times and nothing happened except that the Germans kept shooting at me and killing me. I finally got desperate, and just to see what might be supposed to happen, I did this. Yes, I turned on an invincibility cheat, mostly so I could just see something. Without it, the combination of the explosions and the enemy fire hitting me all over the place screwed up vision so bad I couldn't figure out what was even happening. And now the good guys open the door to the train. Huh? Was I supposed to take out a certain number of soldiers or something before they do that? I have no idea. Unlike the stupid God mode in Half-Life 2, this one doesn't stay on forever and ever, amen. Reload a save point and it's off. I like that. So I tried a few variations on getting out of here with it off. You know what? Never mind. I got to the open train car and got to hear the immortal last line of the game. That's it. Would you look at that? I've seen enough of it for one day, thank you. So on top of everything else, the ending just falls flat. At least you can skip the credits. I've done a lot of griping about this game, and in many ways it thoroughly violates Irving's first rule. Play fair. It definitely doesn't do that in a lot of places. The rendition of Manon, the only woman in the whole story, makes her look like the missing link. The way the enemies dance across the screen makes me want to put them in tutus. It takes way too many shots from a high-powered machine gun or rifle to take them down, and half the time when you do take them down, they get back up. It's pretty absurd. The looping music gets old real quick. And yet, I have to admit, when I wasn't screaming obscenities at it for the unfair play or confusing directions, I loved this. The action is excellent. The sound is top-notch. The variety of weapons keeps things interesting, and the health system is really fair for the most part. The timed missions, like having 30 seconds to get to the elevator or 120 seconds to get to the train, are a nice little twist that really challenges my thinking. The series definitely shows promise. As long as you're aware of the quirks and don't mind restarting 180 kabillion times, it really is a lot of fun. And like a good early series game, it has add-ons. Next time, we'll take a look at one of them. Until then, I'm Irving, and I have no life. Just like you. I guess I'll follow my pointer and find out. The first few, not first few, a rifle to take them down, and half the time when you do that, they pasha. Nothing like a nice little typo. That's my explanation, and I'm sticking with it.